Let me take you straight into it. Most men believe that after 60, fading circulation and intimacy are simply part of getting older. But here's the shocking truth. In clinic after clinic, I see men struggling not because of age itself, but because they are missing 3 essential vitamins that could quite literally reopen blood flow, unclog hidden blockages, and bring back the spark they thought was gone forever. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I am a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men just like you restore vitality, protect their circulation, and reclaim the joy of intimacy. I have seen firsthand the remarkable changes that can happen when we stop treating these issues as inevitable and start addressing the real root causes. Here is the paradox. Many men take handfuls of supplements every day, yet they remain deficient in the very nutrients their blood vessels and hormones depend on. The result? Weak circulation, poor stamina, and declining desire. But when the body is given the right support, it responds sometimes in ways that feel almost miraculous. That is why today I will reveal the top 3 vitamins scientifically proven to improve circulation and intimacy after 60. They are simple, natural, and backed by solid medical research. No gimmicks, no empty promises, just practical solutions that can truly change how you feel and perform. And let me tell you this, one of these vitamins is so overlooked that nearly every man over 60 is running low on it, yet it may hold the missing key to restoring confidence, energy, and intimacy. Stay with me because what you're about to hear could make all the difference in your health and your relationships. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video designed to keep you strong, healthy, and confident after 60. And if you find value in what I share today, type 1 in the comments. If you think I can do better, type 0 and let me know how I can improve these health tips for you. Now let's begin with the very first vitamin, and it's one that far too many men over 60 are quietly lacking. This deficiency alone can stiffen your arteries, weaken blood flow, and drain your energy. I'm talking about vitamin D, the foundation of healthy circulation and lasting intimacy. 1. Vitamin D, the circulation igniter. Vitamin D, the circulation igniter. When I think about the men I've treated over the past 30 years, I can't tell you how many times a single nutrient deficiency has quietly robbed them of their health, their energy, and their ability to enjoy intimacy. One of the most overlooked culprits is vitamin D. Now, most of you probably know vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, the one your doctor tells you to take for bone strength. But let me share something more personal. I've sat in my office across from men in their late 60s or 70s who came to me with the same frustration. Doctor, I just don't feel like myself anymore. My energy is down, my drive is gone, and intimacy isn't what it used to be. And time after time when I ran the blood work, I found vitamin D levels dangerously low. Why does this matter so much? Because vitamin D is not just about bones, it's about blood flow, and blood flow is life. Every heartbeat, every pulse, every moment of connection you share with your partner depends on healthy circulation. Vitamin D plays a direct role in how flexible and responsive your blood vessels are. When your levels are too low, the lining of your arteries, the endothelium, becomes stiff, almost like an old garden hose that's been left in the sun. The smooth, elastic surface that once allowed blood to flow freely begins to harden. And when that happens, your heart works harder. Your stamina declines, and the smallest blood vessels, like those in the penis, struggle to stay open when you need them most. Let me make this real for you. Imagine a man named Robert, 65 years old, who came to see me after months of struggling with fatigue and loss of intimacy. He told me, "Doc, I thought it was just old age. I figured this is what happens when you get older." But when we checked his blood, his vitamin D level was less than half of what it should have been. After just a few months of supplementation, sunlight exposure, and simple lifestyle changes, Robert came back a different man. His blood pressure improved, his energy was stronger, and most importantly, he whispered to me with a grin, "Things are working again in the bedroom." That's the power of vitamin D, and it isn't just my experience. Research backs this up. A large study from Harvard showed that men with low vitamin D were 33% more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. Think about that for a moment. Something as simple as low vitamin D can increase your risk of losing intimacy by a third. This isn't a small effect. It's a life-changing difference. So what can you do about it? The first step is awareness. Many men over 60 are deficient because our skin simply doesn't make vitamin D as efficiently as it once did. Combine that with spending more time indoors and using sunscreen, and your body is starved of this vital nutrient. I recommend getting your vitamin D level checked with a simple blood test. You'll know exactly where you stand. If your numbers are low, there are 3 steps you can take. First, spend time in natural sunlight. 15 to 30 minutes a day can make a real impact. Second, eat foods rich in vitamin D like fatty fish, eggs, and fortified milk. And third, if necessary, use a supplement. For most men, 2,000 to 5,000 international units per day is both safe and effective, but always consult your physician before starting. Now, I want to address the emotional side, because this is not just about lab numbers. Low vitamin D quietly chips away at your confidence. When circulation suffers, you start to feel weaker. When intimacy fades, you may feel distant from your partner. And when fatigue lingers, you begin to question whether your best days are behind you. But I want to tell you something. I've told countless men. It doesn't have to be that way. Replenishing vitamin D can help reopen your blood vessels, restore energy, and bring back that closeness with the one you love. I've seen men go from withdrawn and discouraged to vibrant and engaged simply by correcting this one deficiency. Think of vitamin D as the ignition key to your circulation. Without it, your body stalls. With it, blood moves smoothly, oxygen reaches your muscles, and your heart doesn't have to strain. And yes, it means that when the moment is right, you'll have the confidence of knowing your body can respond. There is something deeply powerful about being able to give that part of yourself back to your partner, not just physically, but emotionally. Intimacy is more than performance. It's connection. And vitamin D helps keep that connection alive. I'll be honest with you. When I talk with men about vitamins, I often see skepticism. They'll say, "Doc, are you telling me a vitamin can really change my life?" And my answer is always the same. Not every vitamin, but the right vitamins. Absolutely. The body is a machine designed to thrive when it has the proper fuel. Vitamin D is one of those fuels. And without it, the engine sputters. With it, circulation strengthens, energy builds, and confidence returns. So, as you listen to me now, ask yourself, when was the last time you had your vitamin D checked? If you can't remember, chances are you are running low. Don't wait until fatigue, blood pressure, or intimacy issues force you to act. Get ahead of it now, because I can promise you this. Restoring vitamin D is one of the simplest, safest, and most effective steps you can take to keep your circulation strong and your life full of passion. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Vitamin D is only the beginning. It sets the stage. It primes the body, but it works even better when paired with another nutrient that most men overlook. This next vitamin doesn't just keep vessels flexible. It actively relaxes them, floods the body with fresh blood flow, and creates that surge of energy and confidence you may not have felt in years. It's natural, it's powerful, and it might just surprise you. Let's talk about vitamin B3. Vitamin B3, niacin, the vessel relaxer. It too, vitamin B3, niacin, the vessel relaxer. When I think back to some of the most remarkable changes I've witnessed in my patients, one story that stays with me involves a man named James, 72 years old, who had lived with declining circulation and fading intimacy for nearly a decade. He sat across from me, his shoulders slumped, and admitted that he felt invisible in his own marriage. "Doc," he said, "I love my wife, but I feel like a shadow of the man I used to be. It's embarrassing. I just don't have the same strength, and when The moment comes, nothing happens. Those words carried so much weight, and I could see the pain in his eyes. After running his labs and talking through his lifestyle, I recommended something that surprised him. Vitamin B3, also known as niacin. He laughed at first. You mean a vitamin I can buy at the drugstore? But within weeks of consistent use, something shifted. His color improved, his energy rose, and the intimacy he thought was lost began to return. Vitamin B3 is not a new discovery. It has been around for decades, often used to help manage cholesterol, but its effects on circulation and blood flow are nothing short of remarkable. When you take niacin, one of the first things you might feel is the so-called niacin flush. That warm tingling sensation in your skin as blood rushes to the surface. While some people find it uncomfortable, I tell my patients to see it for what it is. Proof that niacin is doing its work. What you feel in your face and arms is also happening deep inside your arteries and veins, especially in the smaller vessels that supply blood where it matters most. Niacin works by boosting nitric oxide, a molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. If vitamin D is the ignition key to your circulation, niacin is the accelerator. By allowing vessels to open, it improves the delivery of oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. And for men struggling with erectile dysfunction, this process mirrors the same biological pathway that expensive medications target. The difference is that niacin is natural, accessible, and beneficial to your overall cardiovascular system. I remember explaining this to James, and he asked me a simple question. Why hasn't anyone told me this before? That question haunts me because it is one I've heard far too often. Many doctors are quick to prescribe pills for cholesterol or blood pressure, but they rarely talk about the vitamins that can improve circulation without side effects. Niacin is one of the few nutrients with the power to both improve heart health and restore confidence in the bedroom. Studies published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine have shown that men with moderate erectile dysfunction experienced meaningful improvements when they took daily niacin supplements. This isn't speculation, it's science. But beyond the research, I want you to think about the emotional impact. Imagine sitting at dinner with your partner, feeling that quiet distance that grows when intimacy fades. You love them, they love you, but something unspoken lingers in the air. Then slowly, with the help of something as simple as niacin, you begin to feel alive again. Your skin looks healthier, your energy returns, and when the moment of closeness comes, your body responds. That's not just a physical change, it's a restoration of connection, confidence, and dignity. Of course, it's important to take niacin the right way. I always tell men to start low, around 250 mg, and gradually work up to 500 mg per day. This helps reduce the intensity of the flush while still delivering the benefits. And as with any supplement, especially if you're taking medications for blood pressure or cholesterol, you must talk with your doctor first. Safety always comes first. But when used correctly, niacin is one of the most powerful tools I've seen for older men. The beauty of niacin is that it does not just improve erections, it improves the entire vascular system. Stronger circulation means a stronger heart, more endurance for daily activities, and sharper mental clarity. One of my patients described it best when he told me, "Doc, it feels like someone turned the lights back on in my body." That sense of renewal is something every man deserves to feel, no matter his age. I know it can sound almost too simple. A vitamin that makes you feel years younger. But remember, the body is an intricate machine, and sometimes the smallest adjustments make the biggest difference. For James, adding niacin to his daily routine transformed not just his health, but his marriage. He told me with tears in his eyes that he and his wife were holding hands again, laughing together, and enjoying closeness he thought was gone forever. And I've seen this story repeated countless times in men who had nearly given up hope. If you are listening right now and wondering whether something as small as a vitamin can change your life, let me assure you, I have seen it happen. You don't have to accept fading circulation or lost intimacy as your destiny. With the right support, your body can still respond, your energy can still rise, and your relationships can still flourish. niacin may not be glamorous, but it is profoundly effective. Now, as powerful as niacin is, there is still one more vitamin I need to share with you. This one doesn't just open your vessels, it protects them, keeps them from clogging, and ensures that blood flows smoothly for years to come. Think of it as the body's natural defense shield, a guardian that not only supports circulation, but also safeguards your most vital organs. And here's the secret. Most men overlook it entirely, even though it could be the key to protecting both your heart and your intimacy. Let's talk about vitamin E. 3. Vitamin E, the blood vitamin E. The blood protector. When I think about the struggles men face after 60, one of the most overlooked pieces of the puzzle is the damage that builds up silently in our blood vessels over time. Every cigarette smoked in youth, every stressful day at work, every greasy meal eaten on the run, your arteries remember. The wear and tear of decades doesn't show up all at once. It builds slowly, quietly until one day you notice that your energy is lower, your endurance has faded, and your intimacy feels weaker. That's where vitamin E comes in. I often call it the blood protector because its role is not just to keep circulation moving today, but to shield your blood vessels from the forces that threaten them every single day. I'll never forget a patient named Richard, 68 years old, who came to see me because he was terrified. His father had died of a heart attack at 71, and he was beginning to feel chest tightness, fatigue, and declining function in the bedroom. He admitted, "Doctor, I lie awake at night wondering if I'll even make it to see my grandchildren grow up." When we tested his blood, his cholesterol was elevated, and markers of oxidative stress were high. I explained to him that his blood vessels were under attack, not just from cholesterol, but from free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that damage the lining of arteries, making them stiff and clogged. And this is where vitamin E works its quiet magic. Vitamin E is one of the body's most powerful antioxidants. Think of free radicals as sparks flying inside your arteries, burning and scarring the walls of your blood vessels. Over time, those scars collect cholesterol, calcium, and platelets, creating plaque that narrows your arteries. Now, picture vitamin E as a firefighter rushing in to smother the sparks before they can do serious harm. By reducing oxidative stress, vitamin E helps keep your arteries flexible, open, and able to deliver the rich flow of blood your body and your manhood depend on. But vitamin E doesn't stop there. It also reduces platelet clumping, which means your blood flows more smoothly, less sticky, less likely to form dangerous clots. For a man over 60, that's critical. It's not just about protecting against strokes or heart attacks. It's about making sure thesmolist vessels in your body, including those in the penis, can deliver the circulation needed for strong, lasting intimacy. When those tiny vessels are blocked, no medication in the world can fully restore performance. But when they're protected, when blood moves easily, the body responds naturally. I explained this to Richard, and we built a plan. He began eating foods rich in vitamin E, handfuls of almonds, sunflower seeds, and spinach several times a week. We added a moderate vitamin E supplement, around 200 IU daily, carefully balanced to avoid excess. Over the next 6 months, his lab numbers improved. His chest tightness eased, and with a smile he told me, "Doc, my wife says I'm acting 20 years younger." That's the quiet, steady power of vitamin E. Now I want to pause here and speak to you directly. I know how discouraging it can feel when your body doesn't respond the way it used to. When fatigue sets in, when circulation feels weak, and when intimacy suffers, it can feel like part of your identity is slipping away. But what I've seen over and over is that, with the right support, your body still remembers how to thrive. Vitamin E may not give you an overnight miracle, but it gives your blood vessels the protection they need to stay healthy, to recover, and to give you back that confidence and closeness you thought was fading for good. Science backs this up as, well, numerous studies have shown that vitamin E improves endothelial function, reduces arterial stiffness, and even enhances circulation to the skin and reproductive organs. One clinical trial demonstrated that men with cardiovascular risk factors who supplemented with vitamin E had better blood flow and improved vascular health over time. This isn't fringe science. It's well-established medicine that too many men are simply not told about. And the best part is, vitamin E is accessible. You can get it naturally from foods you probably already enjoy. A small handful of nuts, a few slices of avocado, or a serving of leafy greens all deliver meaningful doses. For men who need additional support, supplementation can be an option, but I always emphasize balance. Too little vitamin E and your blood vessels remain unprotected. Too much and you risk interfering with clotting in ways that aren't healthy. That's why I recommend moderate, steady intake combined with a nutrient-rich diet. What touches me most about stories like Richard's is not just the improved lab numbers or the stronger circulation. It's the way life changes when a man feels whole again. When his energy returns, he walks with more purpose. When intimacy improves, he feels closer to his partner. When his heart is strong, he stops living in fear of what tomorrow might bring. I have seen men who were withdrawn and worried transform into men who laugh again, who plan for the future, who look forward to each day with gratitude. That's the gift of protecting your circulation. And vitamin E is a vital part of that protection. So, as you sit here listening, ask yourself, are you doing enough to protect your blood vessels? Have you given your body the tools it needs to fight back against the years of stress, diet, and damage that naturally accumulate? If not, it's never too late to start. Every step you take today can make the next chapter of your life stronger, fuller, and more vibrant. And here's the exciting part. We've talked about vitamin D to ignite circulation, vitamin B3 to relax vessels and flood them with blood flow, and vitamin E to protect and preserve your arteries. But knowing these nutrients is only half the battle. The real transformation happens when you take action, when you put this knowledge into practice. And that's exactly what we'll cover next. Specific, simple steps you can begin today to rebuild your circulation, restore your energy, and reignite intimacy in your life. You'll want to hear this, because these are the very strategies I've seen change lives in my clinic, and they can change yours too. 4. What you need to do today. If you've stayed with me this far, what you need to do today tells me something important. You're not the kind of man who wants to sit back and let age quietly take away what makes life full. You're here because you still want to feel alive. You still want to protect your health. And you still want to enjoy the intimacy that keeps love and connection burning strong even after 60. And that's why this part may be the most important of all, because knowledge alone won't change your life. Action will. So let's talk about what you need to start doing today if you truly want to improve circulation and bring intimacy back into your life. The very first step is to make a commitment to yourself. I've sat across from countless men in my office, and I've learned that the ones who succeed are not the ones with the best genetics or the cleanest health histories. They are the ones who make a decision that enough is enough. They look me in the eye and say, "Doctor, I want to change. Tell me what to do and I'll do it." That simple act of deciding is powerful. If you take nothing else away from this message, I want you to decide today that you will no longer settle for feeling less than your best. Once you've made that decision, the next thing you must do is evaluate your vitamin D, vitamin B3, and vitamin E intake. These are the 3 pillars of circulation after 60. And if you ignore them, no amount of medication or wishful thinking will make up for the deficiency. Ask your doctor to run a simple blood test for vitamin D. Look at your diet honestly and see if you're getting enough niacin-rich foods like chicken, turkey, or peanuts. Think about whether you're including vitamin E from nuts, seeds, and greens. If not, supplementation may be the right path. Don't wait until a health crisis forces your hand. Check now, correct now, and protect your circulation before the damage becomes irreversible. Beyond vitamins, you must take daily ownership of your circulation. That means moving your body every day, even if it's just a brisk walk around the neighborhood. I've told men time and time again, the heart is a muscle, and muscles only stay strong when you use them. I had a 70-year-old patient who began walking 20 minutes each morning after breakfast. Within 6 months, his stamina improved, his blood pressure came down, and his wife told me he seemed 10 years younger. That is the difference a small but consistent habit can make. Start today, not tomorrow. Nutrition is another cornerstone. You can't expect healthy arteries if you feed them processed foods and heavy fats every single day. Shift toward whole foods. More vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats. Drink water instead of sugary drinks. Cut back on alcohol. I know these sound like simple things, but when you're over 60, simple changes stack up to massive results. Your arteries respond, your energy stabilizes, and your confidence returns. Another action step you can take right now is managing stress. I cannot tell you how many men I've seen whose circulation problems were magnified by constant stress. When you live in a state of tension, your blood vessels constrict, your pressure rises, and intimacy suffers. You may not realize how deeply stress impacts your body until you finally give yourself permission to breathe. Whether it's meditation, prayer, journaling, or simply sitting quietly on the porch in the evening, find a daily ritual that brings peace to your mind. Your body will thank you for it, and so will your partner. Sleep is equally vital. Your body restores itself during rest. Men who cut corners on sleep often see their testosterone fall, their energy plummet, and their circulation weaken. I want you to make it a priority to sleep 7 to 8 hours every night. Treat it as seriously as you would a prescription, because in truth, it is a prescription, one written not by a doctor, but by nature itself. And finally, I want you to reconnect with your sense of purpose. Too many men after 60 slip into a routine where they no longer expect much from life. They stop challenging themselves, they stop growing, and in that stillness, the body weakens. Find something to look forward to, whether it's a project in your workshop, a new hobby, travel with your spouse, or even simply playing with your grandchildren. Purpose gives energy, and energy drives circulation as much as any vitamin or medication. So, here's what you need to do today. Decide to change. Get your vitamin levels checked. Adjust your diet. Add safe supplements if necessary. Move your body. Manage your stress. Sleep deeply. And live with purpose. None of this requires perfection. It simply requires action, day after day until momentum builds. I've watched men transform their health in 6 months by following these steps with consistency. And the look on their faces when they come back to see me, the pride, the relief, the joy. That's why I share this message with you now. But before I close, I want to leave you with a thought. Vitamins and habits are tools, and they are powerful. But the real question is how you will use them. Will you let this knowledge slip away like so many forgotten health tips? Or will you take the first step today to protect your blood, your heart, and your intimacy? The choice is yours. And in just a moment, I'll share with you a conclusion that ties all of this together, a message I believe every man over 60 needs to hear before it's too late. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. 5. Conclusion. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want to speak to you not just as a physician, but as someone who's walked alongside men for decades, listening to their struggles, their fears, and their quiet hopes. We've covered a great deal together. We began by exposing a truth that too many men overlook, that fading circulation and intimacy after 60 are not simply a punishment of age, but often the result of missing key nutrients. We talked about vitamin D, the circulation igniter, a nutrient so powerful it can literally soften stiff arteries and restore the ability of blood to flow where it matters most. We explored vitamin B3, or niacin, the vessel relaxer, which boosts nitric oxide and allows blood to surge with new strength, giving men renewed confidence and vitality. We then turned to vitamin E, the blood protector, shielding your vessels from damage, keeping blood smooth and steady, and guarding the very pathways your heart and intimacy depend upon. And finally, we talked about the steps you can take today, the actions within your reach to make these changes real and lasting in your life. But let me add something more personal here. Over the years, I have seen too many men come to me too late. Men who thought decline was inevitable. Men who waited until their bodies were in crisis before taking action. I've also seen men who chose differently. Men who decided that 60 was not the beginning of the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. Those men took ownership of their health, embraced these nutrients, moved their bodies, and reconnected with their partners in ways they never thought possible again. And I can tell you, their joy was not just in stronger circulation or better lab numbers. It was in the look on their wife's face, the pride in their children's eyes, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing they still had so much to give. If you are listening now, I want you to know this. It is not too late. You have within your reach the ability to change the course of your health, your energy, and your intimacy. These vitamins are not exotic or mysterious. They are simple natural tools, gifts, really, that your body has been craving. When you give your body what it needs, it responds. It always responds. The question is not whether your body can improve. It is whether you will allow it the chance. So, I encourage you, don't let this message pass by as just another video you watched. Take it to heart. Make the call to your doctor. Get your blood levels checked. Look honestly at your diet and take the steps we discussed. Begin today. Every small action builds on the next, and before you know it, you can look back and see real transformation. I'll leave you with this thought. Aging is inevitable. Yes, but decline is optional. You do not have to surrender your circulation, your energy, or your intimacy to the passing years. You can fight back. You can nourish your body, protect your vessels, and reignite the spark that makes life rich. I have seen it happen countless times, and I believe it can happen for you too. So take what you've learned here and put it into practice. Give yourself the gift of stronger blood flow, greater vitality, and deeper connection. You deserve it. Your partner deserves it, and your future is waiting for it. And remember, this is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new one. Your best days can still be ahead if you choose to take that first step today. All from Life After 70.